may I know what is happening to his body? Is it allergy, or is it in the process of getting the bad stuff out? I mean,
Well, yeah,
I think she means toxin.
this is what I was saying earlier. Our skin is our body's largest eliminator. You know, if we have toxins in there, where are they going to go? They can go through the colon, they can go through the urine, but even through the breath. I mean, that's why some people's breath smells so bad. You know, they're releasing toxins. But the skin is our body's largest eliminator. A lot of the skin diseases are just the toxins coming out. You know, sometimes they're allergies, no doubt about it. You have to look at that too. And there again, if the skin condition is extreme, they need to cut back a little bit. But sometimes things have to get worse before they get better. That's the one law of natural healing. You know, everybody is very conditioned to thinking, oh, I don't get immediate results from this, you know, and that's what drugs do. You know, it's a prime example of this is we have a male formula, and probably 95 to 98% of the male formulas out there that are effective, they take effect, let's say Viagra or whatever, on men within, I've never tried it, but within minutes, you know, all of a sudden they're getting feelings. That's a drug, okay? The products that don't have drugs, it can take 3-4 hours for them to get to effect. Why? Because the body has to metabolize it. You know, it has to convert it into the testosterones, into the other substances that it needs for whatever purpose. So that's kind of what I was referring to with 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 drugs versus reversing something is we're conditioned to think we need to have immediate results. And that isn't the case with the way the body heals. There again, because it could have taken years accumulation of all these toxins and continuous exposure to toxins, which our environment, we can't get away from it. You know, there's chemicals in the air, there's chemicals in the water, which we just found out in KL was pretty extreme, and all everywhere. You know, they're even dropping, and now the government admits it, they're even doing what's called, what is it in the sky when the planes are dumping all these toxins? Well, they have a name for it. So we can't get away from it. The radiation in the world today is just paramount, you know, particularly it just floats around in our environment from depleted uranium shells that America's been using practically everywhere. So there's so many instances and so many exposures in our foods and our vegetables and our meats and milks and water and everywhere. We're always going to be exposed to environments. We're not going to have in our lifetime, I think, again, a clean environment. It's impossible. You know, many of these things last ages. Radiation lasts, you know, how long does radiation last? Has a life, what they call that, a half-life of hundreds of years sometimes. So we've got to do what we can to balance that. And that's one reason we created this product, because these toxins create inflammation, all right? We need to reduce that inflammation in the body for prevention, as well as reduce the cause of our illnesses today. So that's where the regeneration happens too. If we're not regenerating, we're degenerating. I haven't been a degenerate since my teens, and I was pretty much a degenerate then. So there again, the key is it took a long time to develop these conditions. A drug, you're going to get immediate effects. With our product, it's going to be short.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Smith. We have more questions go. Okay, how long do you need to take the product before the effects level off with little effect?
Which effect?
How long do you need to take the product before the effects level off with little effect?
Oh, well, you know what I've seen over the years, like I said, I practiced integrative medicine. I practice, isn't that a funny word? Still practicing, still haven't figured out how to do it. No, I was in integrated medicine for 30 years at clinics and retreat facilities all over the world, looking for some of the foremost products in the world, and traveled many, many, many places, as you mentioned earlier. And it's impossible to say, but then when you're not feeling as much effect, that's great, because that means you're at balance and you want to maintain that balance. That's called homeostasis. And, you know, that's where we want to get, so that we do have optimal health, you know, and that's what we're aspiring for. It's not just, oh, I want this product to stimulate me. It's not overstimulating me anymore. I'm not feeling extra benefits, but you're not getting worse. That's the other side of it. You know, you've reached that harmony within yourself, and you want to maintain that harmony. You know, it's kind of like a relationship, you know. Sometimes relationships can be overstimulating at first, and then it kind of mellows out. And some dissipates altogether. But I don't feel our product is going to do that. It's more a matter of, it is going to help bring that balance. And then we want to maintain that balance, as I mentioned earlier, because of all the toxins in our environment. You know, we need to do what we can to fight free radicals, fight them, eliminate it, get the toxins out of our system, regenerate our cells, and create new stem cells, as well as feed the ones we have and give them the energy they need. The thing about natural medicine and integrated medicine is many times you don't know if you're doing better, even though you haven't gotten a disease or you haven't gotten sick in like 5, 10, 15, 20 years. All of a sudden you look back and go, wow, I haven't been sick in so long. Amazing. Prevention is something that is hard to prove. You know, I mean, if you get something, then you can measure it many times and you can show that it's improving. But there's no way, I mean, we have instruments that can show all that, you know, bioradiance and such, but it's very difficult to prove that somebody's doing better because they're prevented something rather than got something.
Yeah, understand. Thank you, Dr. Smith. Okay, next. I have customer took SelfH Plus after drinking alcohol and she feels so much better. May I know what is the ingredients in SelfH Plus that help with drunk or hangover after alcohol?
All of them, all the ingredients. Alcohol, hangover is inflammation. Okay, that's what that is. You've inflamed your liver, you've inflamed your organs, you've inflamed your tissue, inflamed your brain, everything. And this, as I said, was anti-inflammatory. Plus, it has so many minerals in it. Drinking alcohol depletes a lot of the minerals, creates a lot of free radicals in the body, and you need those antioxidants to balance that. You know, also, alcohol depletes the oxygen in the body. Very, very much depletes oxygen, and also kills the beneficial bacteria in the body. That's why you need to replenish that. So we're working on it in many ways. In fact, we may want to market this as a hangover cure.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
Next question. Will the product help to build muscle for the age?
Help build muscle?
Build muscle.
Absolutely. Well,
Build
you know,
muscle.
yes, right. I'm not going to say it's going to make you an Arnold Schwarzenegger or something like that. You've got to work hard to do that. And you're going to regenerate cells. You're going to regenerate muscle. But then you have to tone your muscles, you know. I mean, you're going to get better skin, maybe softer skin, whatever. But then you still have to work on that. You've got to tone yourself, you know, or you've got to work a muscle. One of my old mentors, osteopath, he lived in 98, and he actually got killed in a car wreck, but that's another story. And he always used to say, if you rest, you rust. And he was the one who always used to say, get the bad things out, put the right things in, and fix the body mechanics, and you got everything going right there for you. So yes, you're going to get new muscle, you're going to get new cells, muscle cells, but then you've got to do what it takes to make those healthy.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Smith. Next, may I know if the main ingredients of the SelfH Plus is Triticum sativage wheatgrass?
You cut out again. I'm sorry. I'm not getting a good connection.
Okay. May I know if the main ingredients of SelfH Plus is Triticum sativage, meaning the wheatgrass?
Does it try to, what was the last part?
The wheatgrass.
Yes.
Meaning, is the wheatgrass the main ingredients of SelfH Plus?
No, no, that's just one ingredient.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not the main ingredient at all. No, it's a combination and a synergistic blend. And we list that one first on the PowerPoint. But I don't think, no, it's not the main ingredient at all because the active ingredients are only 20% of the whole product. And the 80% else is the food. So yeah, it's not main at all.
All right. Thank
But
you.
it's a wonderful product. Oh my gosh, I've been taking wheatgrass powder for at least 20 years, almost every day in my smoothie. And of course now I'm taking combinations of things like the SelfH Plus. So, but I'm not a big vitamin fan anymore. I used to be orthomolecular, and I wasn't seeing the benefits of it. You know, they're all synthetic mostly. I mean, you can get some natural vitamins, and occasionally they're good to take. You need them. Many people may need iron. Most women need folic acid, B12. And then you have to look at glandulars, you know, the biodynamic, because most women, and in particular, have low thyroid, blah, blah, blah. But I won't get into all that. But I look more at the food sources of nutrients. And I think I'm much, much more healthy getting food sources. And that's one thing about this product. It has everything everybody needs, just about everything. I mean, you still have to eat food. I'm not saying you can live on SelfH Plus, but you're going to live longer and live healthier on SelfH Plus. I can say that.
Okay. Thank you. Next question. For a diabetic patient, how long will it take to see the difference after consuming SelfH Plus?
That goes back to the same answer I've given for every other condition. Everybody's different. I wish I could tell somebody exactly how long it's going to take for them to feel to change. My feeling about it is with diabetes, I can't say. I'm not a licensed doctor here in Malaysia, so I don't talk too much about what kind of results they're going to get or how long it'll take to change the symptoms. But one thing I will say that we know from the research is we're going to reduce the symptoms from the diabetes. And it's the symptoms that kill people, not the sugar and not the insulin. It's the kidney failure. So many people with diabetes go through kidney failure. So many people go through amputations. I mean, there's so many conditions, heart disease, cancers that result from diabetes. So getting that blood sugar down, getting it more normal, and metabolizing. Here's the key. It's not that you're getting too much carbohydrates. You're getting the wrong kind of carbohydrate. The one that the body's going to put into fat, and one that the body's going to accumulate into the arteries and cause lots and drain the nutrients. But when you look at our source of carbohydrates, you're getting one that's bioavailable and that your body is going to use for energy. One of my friends, Dr. Somchai, and I've known him for 20 something years. He's an incredible functional medicine expert. And he helped develop one of the ingredients. And he's always shown through biochemistry how essential it is that we get the carbos. There's these ketone diets and protein diets, which are hell on the kidneys. I mean, oh my God, it's just too much protein and no carbos. And in the long run, they're depleting their system. You've got to have carbos for energy for the cell. That's what it feeds on. It feeds on certain types of sugar, polysaccharides, but you have to have the right kind. That's the key, and not all the ones that people are eating, like the wheats, the white rice, and all the sugars and all of that. You know, we know what's good and what isn't.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Smith. For high cholesterol patient, roughly how long would it take to see positive improvements after consuming SelfH Plus?
That's the same answer I just gave.
Yeah,
Over
and over again.
all we know is that you'll get benefits. Now, keep in mind too, everybody needs cholesterol. Okay, you produce a lot of your own cholesterol. It doesn't necessarily come from the diet. We need cholesterol. You know, I eat, in fact, you know, I eat some high cholesterol food sometimes, and I do eat a lot of avocado. It's a wonderful fat. But you know, when they say low fat, no carbs, that food's probably dead. We gotta have fat, and we gotta have good fats, and we gotta have good carbs in our body, and that's what's essential. And cholesterol is essential. Cholesterol we have to form hormones. If we don't have cholesterol, we don't have any hormones. It's essential to have cholesterol for enzymes. It's essential for protection of the brain. So cholesterol is essential, and it's kind of gotten a bad rap in some respects. You know, it's not so much the high cholesterol. It comes down to the inflammation in the body. That's why I say anybody who has high cholesterol and they're worried about heart disease, they should go do a CRP, C-reactive protein, and do a homocysteine, and there's a couple other blood biomarkers, which show the inflammation in the body, because that's the key. You can have some high cholesterol, but then the other thing, no, never mind, I'm not going to get into the drug approach. That's not my field right now. But yes, it's impossible to say, but I can guarantee you it's going to help your inflammation, which is what can cause the cardiovascular disease. I mean, extremely high cholesterol, of course, is bad, and the wrong kind of cholesterol is bad. And that's why you need to go into Google. Google's so great for telling you what's good cholesterol and what's bad cholesterol.
Okay. Okay, let's proceed to next question. Is there a need to take extra vitamin and minerals on top of SelfH Plus? Or it is enough to just take SelfH Plus for our body to function well?
Your body's going to function well on SelfH Plus, but a lot of it depends on your diet, your toxins that you're exposed to, the amount of exercise you're getting, your overall condition of health. I would probably always take a multiple because, you know, it provides certain nutrients. SelfH Plus doesn't provide all the nutrients we need, but food does. You know, that's the key about it. But in this age, which I haven't mentioned much about just stress. Stress is a killer, you know, and we create a lot of our own stress and we're exposed to a lot of stress. There's no doubt about it. We won't get into that too much. I'm not a psychologist, but you have to understand you have to manage your stress. I mean, there's nothing better than prayer, meditation, yoga, exercise, things of that nature to help balance your stresses, and eating the right foods, because eating the wrong foods is going to put more and more stress on your body. So, you know, balancing your mind, your approach, all of that is so necessary and essential. And is that getting off track on the question, or does that answer it?
Again, sorry?
Is that getting off track, or did that answer the question?
Yeah, I think it is the answer. Let me proceed to the next. For cancer patient, is it suitable to take SelfH Plus? Because most of the doctor not encouraged to take supplementary food as it is active the cancer cell. What is your opinion?
I don't want to correlate it with cancer. What I can say is cancer is inflammation. Cancer is mutating cells. You know, you can have benign or malignant. This is just a food. Now, what people need to understand, this is not a vitamin. this is a food substance. And so it's like taking food as much as anything. I mean, like I said earlier, it's a very strong formula. It can be for some people. And it may have some actions that may be uncomfortable at first, but that's just the body balancing. So I think it's important to realize that we're not addressing diseases with this product because you need to get more of an orientation. We are not treating disease. This has nothing to do with disease other than balancing the metabolism, balancing the hormones, balancing the inflammation in the body, and giving it nutrients it needs to function, and feeding and creating more healthy cells. I mean, anytime you have cancer, you've got unhealthy cells. But good nutrients are not going to feed cancer cells. It's known that cancer lives on sugar and toxins. You know, I mean, number one, sugar, that's what it thrives on. If you get the right kind of carbohydrate, it almost rejects it, which is kind of interesting. There's been the studies that have been done. So, but what we're looking at is we're looking at regeneration, and we're looking at it being a food that feeds your cells. Now, you can't starve yourself just because you have cancer. It's going to get worse and worse because you need the nutrients, you need the energy, you need the building blocks to create new cells. So, what and I tend to agree with the doctor who said that about it's not necessarily good to take a lot of supplements with cancer. I mean, you have to go to a very, very knowledgeable individual about orthomolecular medicine and such in order to know which vitamins to take for your type of cancer. There's so many types of cancer. You know, there's fungal, there's bacterial, there's viral. I mean, there's so many kinds of cancers. And and it depends where it is, how progressive it is, all of that. But the thing I'd go back to is you're not going to stop eating food just because you have cancer. So, and this is a food supplement. We've got to just focus on that rather than looking at it trying to cure or reverse any disease. I mean, I mentioned them all because the research of each one of those ingredients has shown benefit in those areas. But when we're out there marketing the product or you're talking to people, they'll always invariably say, oh, is this going to cure my cancer? Oh, is this okay with cancer? Is this going to be good for my diabetes? Yes, it could really, really help your body balance your imbalances or your metabolism because it all comes down to your metabolism.
Thank you, doctor. Next question. Does SelfH Plus helps OCD, ADHD?
You know, OCD is a very deep condition. It may balance some things, but you know, it's impossible to say with OCD. ADHD, I think that's a different situation because there again, you've got to look at food allergies, possibly too much sugar, imbalances of that nature. And you've got to have the right nutrients to be able to do that. And that this helps balance the hyperinsulinemia, which is a big cause of ADHD, which we talked about metabolic syndrome, syndrome X earlier, if you were on, that it will help balance those conditions. OCD is a different situation. You know, it's like, let's say something, schizophrenia is a different situation. There's so many factors there. I mean, I used to get really good results with OCD by getting rid of the toxic metals, doing a heavy metal detox, getting them off certain foods that they were having allergies to, creating more and more inflammation and creating, you know, problems in the neurons in the brain. But also with OCD, I mean, you have to look at the whole family background, you know, what they may have been, what should I say, we'll call programmed, but affected by, that put them, created that condition, that's their way of coping with the world. But that's something else. That's for psychologists, psychiatrists to deal with. But this product can't hurt. That's the best thing about it. is it can't hurt anything. The only thing that you may not want to do without physician's recommendation is if you're pregnant or breastfeeding, you may want to wait or may not take a little bit. It's a food. I just have to keep reiterating and emphasizing. This is a food, you know. It's like, would you tell somebody, you better not eat chicken while you're pregnant? You better not, you know, eat vegetables while you're pregnant. So, but anyway, on the other hand, it could be too much for that mama or that child, you know, particularly when they're breastfeeding, because it's powerful. It's a very strong formula.
Okay, thank you, doctor. Next question. Which of the ingredients stop appetite?
Stop appetite.
Mm-hmm.
The fucoidin and the fiber and the prebiotic, and those are the main ones. I think any of the others are known to do that. I think the others probably have some effect, but it's the fibers, the insoluble and soluble fibers, which are the main one. Yeah, the guar gum, yeah, the sun fiber. Yeah, those are the main ones. And like I said before, we were talking about slimming, is when you get the right nutrients into your body, you don't crave as much food, you know, because the system balances and your system feels nourished. It won't have that craving, unless it's just an emotional craving, you know. It's like, which a lot of times that's what it is, you know. I mean, you know, I always said diabetes can be, not in everybody, I mean, this is generalizing, but Dr. Louise Hay always say that diabetes is a lack of sweetness in your life. You know, that's not true for everybody, but some people get too much sweetness. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Next question. Can SelfH Plus help on bone fracture or osteoporosis?
You know, it can, because that's what stem cells are all about. You know, the stem cells are produced, one of the main producers of stem cells is the bone marrow. That's why they do bone marrow transplants. They do um, they do stem cells from bone marrow. You know, it's horrible. I can't imagine sticking that needle in there, drawing out the stem cells out of the bone marrow. But that's what it's all about. I mean, stem cells is nothing new. And that's a good point. You know, they've been doing bone marrow transplants for what, 40, 50 years. In fact, Dr. Steele worked with, I think his name is Dr. Grace, who was a developer of bone marrow transplants. I mean, he's long gone, but I think, I'm pretty sure he is. But that's what it's all about, is you're transferring stem cells to somebody else for regeneration. Now, we've proven that this product can create stem cells. What's it going to do? It's going to regenerate bone. That's what it's all about. Same with osteoporosis. But osteoporosis too, you got to get them off sugar. I mean, you know, one of the worst, most toxic substances in the world are pop, Coca-Colas. I mean, all of those, and even the Oishi green tea, they have up to 9 teaspoons of sugar in every pop. Even diet's even worse. Diet's the worst. I mean, it makes you crave more sugar. This diet pop thing is one of the biggest atrocities in the world, but that's a whole nother story. And so osteoporosis has to do with too much sugar, taking the calciums, the magnesiums, the zincs, the minerals out of the bone, just drawing it out. Too much acidity in the system. They got to alkalize your blood. And this is a wonderful alkalizer, so it's going to be very beneficial in that aspect too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Another one question. Can it be meal replacement?
Yeah, I wouldn't go to an extreme with it, like it's the only thing you eat all day. I mean, it's just, you have to eat a lot of it, but you've got to get all the amino acids you need. But occasionally, I mean, a day's fasting or a 2-day fast on it would be fantastic. You know, you're going to get so much of the nutrients you need. I mean, you still need a lot of B vitamins and things like that, but C's and all of that. But this is more geared towards anti-inflammation, feeding the microbiome with the beneficial bacteria, and creating new stem cells for regeneration. You know, it's not necessarily a meal replacement, but 1 day a week, 1 day a month, it'd be fantastic. Give your body a break.
Okay, last question for tonight.
Okay.
Okay, the question is in Mandarin, but for what I understand the question, she is actually asking, can SelfH Plus cause some cool, you know, in Chinese, especially in Chinese physician, they like to explain our body in two ways, cold and heaty.
Right.
All right. So SelfH Plus can actually cause our body being heaty or cold.
You know, I studied Oriental medicine in long, long, long time ago, and so I know the whole concept. Um, it's a really good question. I have a little different perspective. I think we can balance the heat and the cold with the right foods. I don't think there's enough of, of, of an effect from the product to switch it either direction to be considered more heaty or more cooling. I think it's more balanced. I know turmeric can be a little heaty, you know, ginger and turmeric and things like that. Mushroom, I think, is more cooling, if I'm not mistaken. The fibers can be more cooling. Pea, I don't know, to tell you the truth, if pea is more heating or cooling. I would say it's probably more heaty. Wheatgrass cooling, AAP I know is more cooling. Um, um, Chlorella is cooling. I think it's balanced. So I wouldn't look at it affecting the body in one way or another. What I tend to look at a lot is acid alkaline, okay? And because the pH is everything in our body. I mean, you go from, like, what is it? Your pH in your blood is just such a small amount. Below that, you're dead. Above that, it's like, I think 7.3 to 6.8. Below that, you're pretty sick and you die acid, or above that, you're too alkaline, you die. So we regulate that continuously with pH. And so it's a different system there that I tend to look at with regards to health, balancing that pH, the alkalinity, you know. Cancer thrives in acid. That's what it does. It lives in an acid environment. Alkaline, it just can't stand, you know, it has to have that acidity. And it tries to create that in the body. And most conditions tend to be elucidated or caused by an acid condition. And so we need to balance that pH. And the great thing about this product is it is alkalizing. It's not a complete alkalizer. You know, you can't take it, oh, it's going to alkalize me like baking soda, you know, practically every morning, not every morning, but I tend to take a little bit of pure baking soda and a little bit of lemon water and drink that first thing in the morning to alkalize. We've been getting so acid all night from processing toxins. So it's good to alkalize first thing in the morning, fairly regular basis. And that keeps the system more of that balance. So it's a really good question. It'd be great to do some research on it and, you know, and test it. You probably, I don't think you could do it through pulse diagnosis. I guess you could. Huh. Good question. I wish I could answer it. I think it's balanced. I think that's the answer.
Okay, balance. All right, I think another one coming up, another new question. For mental patient, will there be improvement after consumption?
Well, the thing about mental problems, a lot of it's toxic metals. A lot of it can be food allergies. It can be from a lot of factors. You know, it can even be from a familial. It can be from their environment. You know, and their upbringing, whatever. So many causes of mental illness. But the great thing about it is this formula can help detox. And a lot of mental illness is toxicity, particularly toxic metals. You got to get them out. There was a study done that showed that toxic metals led to practically every mental illness. I mean, look at the movie. What was it? Was it Alice in Wonderland, the Mad Hatter? And the reason he was a Mad Hatter is because he always put mercury in his head, and it made him crazy. And they actually used to put mercury in hats to kill lice and to kill other microbes in the head, I think is why they did it. Who knows why they did it? Lead. Oh my God, when you think of all the lead that's been in the environment, I mean, lipsticks up until recently all had lead in them. They probably, a lot of them still do, from that are made in these um, shady factories, you know. So it's still not out of our environment, and lead is just one of the most debilitating um, metals, along with mercury, along with cadmium, along with arsenic. And that's a big thing. We have a heavy metal detox formula, and it's so important, you know, to get that out. But the great thing about a lot of these ingredients is they detox toxic metals. And that in itself, I mean, when you think of all the mercury people have in their mouths, we did a study that showed, they said, oh no, mercury doesn't affect, it doesn't break down. We showed through infrared, gas chromatography, I think it was, that your mercury fillings gas out mercury almost continuous. There was like this blue haze coming from the mercury, and so we're ingesting that almost continuously. And it's one of the most toxic substances on the planet. You know, unfortunately, it's in a lot of fish, and it's in a lot of our vegetables. It's everywhere. It's almost impossible to get away from. They were even putting it in vaccinations and such, but and then some drugs, but now they're reducing that more and more. But why? Why are they reducing it? Why are they eliminating it? Because it was toxic. You know, it's almost like radiation, mammograms and X-rays. They used to use such high doses, and now they're tending to reduce it more and more and more, and realize, well, this is all we need. We don't have to overdose, you know. So you have to look at that. The happy medium there, and getting what you need, and a lot of things are absolutely essential, but with the mental imbalances, I mean, I get mental imbalances sometimes. If I get too toxic, I get mentally imbalanced. You know, I may react or act out or something, you know, and many times a mental illness is just an extreme of that. You know, I realize if I've been eating a lot of crap, I may be more irritable, you know, or I may be more reactive than normal, and that's just a mild form. I mean, it's kind of like, let's say with Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's is not a mental illness. You know, Alzheimer's is a degenerative inflammation of the brain, and a lot of it comes as a result of what they call these rogue proteins. That's getting another area, but these toxic metals create a lot of those problems. That's what it comes down to. We got to get them out. With Alzheimer's, you get what's called um, MCI, mild cognitive impairment, which happens initially, and that develops into deeper states of Alzheimer's. You know, and they're finding out a lot of people with Alzheimer's were smokers, with diabetes, with drinking Coca-Colas, the colas. They're finding so much of a connection with Alzheimer's in that. With the glyphosates, you know, just destroying the brain cells in the body, with a lot of the wrong kind of proteins. So all of those, and nothing regenerating those cells. It's so important to regenerate your cells. And that's what's so wonderful about SelfH Plus, is that's what it's all about. It's about regeneration rather than degeneration.
All right. Okay. here's all the questions for tonight. So thank you, our Dr. Smith. And before wrapping up, Dr. Smith, do you want to make an sharing?
Make what? Make it scary?
Sharing? Yeah.
Or sharing? I think
Yeah.
scary. I think several things I'd just like to emphasize, which I have all along, is we're not treating any disease at all. That's not what we do. That's for the doctors to deal with. Most of us are not doctors, and that's not even what I do. I treat people constitutionally. I don't like to treat and focus on disease. Try to balance what's causing the disease, get to the heart of it. This product is so synergistically balanced that it gets to balance the cause of the problem, which is what it's all about. But even more than that, it's prevention. It's feeding, it's regeneration. It's like you gotta love your cells, all right? I mean, they are who we are, and to destroy them like we do is almost inhumane. We need to love our cells. We need to give them the nutrition they need. And why we created this product was to feed those cells, get them active, get them energetic, get them doing the job they need to do, which is every job in our body is all about cells and the enzymes and such. So this product does that. It's a regenerator. That's what we need to look at. And it's a food. And that's why it's so wonderful for all of you over from other countries, is and with the help of Dr. Lane, we developed this where it's 80% food and 20% active ingredients. So in most countries, it's considered a food supplement rather than a vitamin or nutraceutical. So it's very easy to get regulated. Well, who knows about easy? Every country is different. Much simpler process, of course. In every country I've been in Asia, there's that different level, food supplement, nutraceutical, drug, blah, blah, however that goes. So we're at that baseline. And that's what's important for everybody to also focus on, is this is a food. It's not a drug. It's not even a vitamin. It's a food. I don't think we have one vitamin in there. No vitamins whatsoever. And not even any minerals. It's all foods. It's all herbs, and we've developed it with all three of us, Dr. Steele, Dr. Lane, myself, where it's balanced. And if anybody does have a discomfort experience from it, I just say, just cut back. You don't have to rush it. You don't have to detox so fast, or you don't have to get, regenerate so fast. Your body may just need a little bit at a time, build up, whereas you're getting the optimal amount, to where it's really is going to make you as healthy as you want to be. And that's the key, is let's get as healthy as we want to be and can be. And as I mentioned earlier, health is wealth and wealth is health. So having those two together is a wonderful opportunity. And everybody here has an opportunity to be the first people in the world to market this product and bring it out to the people. So it's all about changing people's lives, and in the process, enriching your own.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Smith, and thank you everyone for the night. I think again we would like to emphasize SelfH Plus is not a drug. It's food for our cell. It will balance our immune system. It is not going to overacting our immune system, and we are not going to suppress our immune system. So, and again, SelfH Plus is to regenerate our cell, regenerate our own stem cell. Okay, and it is proven safe. Any more questions for tonight? So thank you very much thank you very much for a friend from Hong Kong, from China, from Singapore, from Thailand, Malaysia, and Korea. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Dr. Smith. And thank you, everyone. So we will stop here. Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody.